email there, so as soon as we get it up, we will inshallah notify you right away. So the cards are here inshallah, and I'm here till whenever we finish inshallah.
I think we'll give you 15 to 20 minutes for the audience to put any questions you might have about the talk or any other question in general to our Imam. Brothers and sisters, anybody who wants to write a question down and send it to the front, I'll read the question out, but I'd prefer if you stood up and asked your question, so it's over to you.
Speak a bit louder. You mentioned all the problems that are facing the youth.
Yeah.
In dinner, doing whatever. To regard the individual problem or social problem.
Is it an individual problem or social problem? Well, the individual problem becomes a social problem because if many people are doing it, it becomes social.
What do we need to change first?
Well, you need to change. You have to do fard ayn is extremely important. Yeah, there's a lot of thoughts that can be put into that. I think in order to change ourselves, first and foremost, we have to change from within us. Hassan al-Banna alayhi rahmatullah, he had said that you need to make, and Maulana Maududi at the same time had said a concurring statement of the same, that you need to actually have the Islamic state from your own house. So you need to actually make a state of mind that you're practicing and following the rules of Allah and His Messenger, that you're kind to your neighbors, that you do things that actually facilitate your development as Muslims within whichever town you're staying. So the reason we're being plagued by so many problems is that we are away from Allah and His Messenger, and actually becomes a problem even for the societies that we live in, because of crime, because of drugs, because of all these bad things that take place. The society ends up hurting too. So one of the people in the Bronx, one of the ministers, chief of police, he was stating that when Muslims, when the kuffar, they convert to Islam, they actually become a benefactor to the community. So if you change your system and you change individually in understanding the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and increase yourself daily within the deen, then right away you can fight the social effect. But if 1 or 2 people are doing it, or if 10 people are doing it out of 5,000, then obviously the social effect is going to be much greater than the individual. So the individual is going to be wrapped up around all the social problems. The only way that we can combat that is through a collective effort. So when the brothers asking for emails and to do things together and to bring lectures like this happen and have thoughts and then implement them after that. You don't go home and say, well, that was a nice talk, those are funny jokes, and that was nice, and then go back on to doing whatever you're doing. You have to actually, when you walk out this door today, you have to start worshipping Allah with all your might. And I think one of the things that are very good is a long sajda. And there's a lot of things that you can do to improve yourself, but a long sajda is very, very important. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ sometimes used to be in sajda, and they used to figure out, they said, what? We thought that he forgot. And that's sajda, and that's the place that's close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from a confirmed hadith. So you need to bend your back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then you need to put this face that is full of arrogance onto the ground and humble yourself before your Creator, and then you can solve all those social problems. Because what does the salah do? It hides you from, it takes you away from what? Fahsha wa munkar. And it takes you away from munkar, takes you away from wrongdoing, and takes you away from things that are lewd and obscene. So this is what it does to you. So if you put your head onto the ground and really ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from your heart, if you turn to Allah, Allah will not turn away from you. Allah's door is always open until Malak al-Maut comes to you or the sun rises from the west. And Allah ta'ala, the way things are going, when the sun is going to rise from the west, because the Sahaba were very, very afraid of Yawm al-Qiyamah, because Sa'a Sughra, the hour that is small, will start with your death. So why are you waiting so long? So in order to solve our social problems, we need to first and foremost fix ourselves individually and our families. We have to work on our families. The brothers, they're purporting an Islamic lifestyle. They wear their shalwar qameez and they go to the masjid, and then right away their wife have no connection with the deen. They never take them to any halaqat. They never give them anything. They should be home cooking. Mujhe salan chahiye. Oh, garam nahi hai. I want salan and it's not hot, and pani thanda nahi hai. The water is not cold enough, and this is not her duty to give you. It's good that out of her love and kindness that she does that, but she needs also she will give you the thanda pani when she understands the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So to change yourself, there's many, many points, and I can continue onwards, but inshallah, this constructive points because you want to take something with you. To make your sajda long. To make it long. Wake up in the middle of the night, make wudu. Half an hour before Fajr, make wudu. And then make salah. At least 2 rak'ah, 4 rak'ah, and wait for Fajr to come in. That's a very beautiful time. We all go to the center in the morning and it's very lovely. It's tiring when you get up first. But when you pray tahajjud, then you go and the Hafiz comes and we warm up the car and we all go together. It's really magnificent. And so what a beautiful time. And they said just at before Fajr time, before the sun comes out, the oxygen content is very high. It's very good for the brain. So you become brainy people. Worshipping Allah, you do good in your studies. You become good people and then you get rid of social ills that way. But if you're going to sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning, miss Fajr, wake up at 12 and not do anything for the deen of Allah, then don't expect the social ills to eradicate by itself. You mentioned that the Albanians, Kashmiris and the rest of the Muslims who are being killed towards torture, sisters are raped, butchered, etc. around the world. How do we as Muslims help them? I don't believe donations will prevent this. Could you tell me something from Islam that could help all Muslims in the world? That's a topic by itself. that really requires a very lengthy answer. But to just tell you something that's short is that yes, our brothers and sisters are being raped and butchered, and this is a global phenomenon that's taking place because they're sitting around the round table, this UN, thinking of how to shred us. And we have hubb al-dunya wa karayat al-maut. We love the dunya too much and we hate dying. Like we're always afraid, oh, what's happening to me? How will I go? You should hate dying in a state of non-Islam, in a state of non-submission. So how do we help our brothers and sisters? Money is very, very important. You have to feed the people. That's why zakah is there. How many people are paying their zakah? Now they're even making it difficult to have orphan money giving to all. Oh, if I give that relief foundation, oh, they will fund terrorists. I mean, that's a load of nonsense because not every relief organization does that, and that's just a myth that they're putting in our brains. Maybe there might be an odd aberration out of maybe hundreds, but they're making it look like everyone is doing that. So Muslims are only funding terrorists because they're terrorists to begin with, and that's not true. And that's not true. So in order to help our brothers and sisters, I think that our people need to help them. We need to actually help them. They should not have the audacity to rape our sisters and for us to be quiet. We should at least say a word of truth. And they should not have the courage to go and shoot our brothers and sisters. We should mobilize. We should actually think collective. We're one body, and that's very important. We keep mentioning that hadith, one body, if the part of the body aches, the other body will go, because as it fevers, and we keep mentioning that, and it just becomes like a mantra that you're saying like Om, Om, Om. We don't do Om, Om. We do Allah, Allah, and then put it into practice. So, in order to save our brothers and sisters, you need to write, you need to lobby, you need to do things that you need to do. It's a war of propaganda now. It's not a war of bullets and guns any longer because everyone has missiles, everyone has nuclear bombs. It's a war of propaganda. It's a war of brainwashing because everyone has 2 to 3 television sets in their house. And they're watching it constantly. So once you change the intellectual perception, you will change every other thing. So in order to help our brothers and sisters, first of all, you have to give them money to eat. You know, hunger is a very bad thing. I was there in Karachi one time, and this boy's leg was ripped up at the bottom, and he kept on limping. So what my cousin and I, the only reason I'm saying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved my deed, inshallah, and just to share with you, it wasn't nothing big on my part or my cousin's part, but what we did was we took some money from the university when we went to Jummah because we want to do constructive things. We don't want to give a flighty Jummah and then after the end not do anything. We took $2,500. We went there and we said, okay, and I killed 2 birds with 1 stone to not kill this statement. So we went there and we saw poor people in problems. One time there was a garbage guy who was, I'll get to the kid inshallah. He was inside the kabar, they call it. So he was inside there lifting cardboard and all this. So I jumped inside him. And I gave him 500 rupees. And he looked at me, he took the 500 rupees and ran. Because he didn't know what I want from him, Because we are not helping our people. And this was an older man. His back was hunched. And you know that and I asked him, I said, how much do you get per day? He said, maybe 20 or 30 rupees. I said, is that enough to keep your family? He said, well, we're always behind and we're eating dry bread and chilies. That's what we're doing. So I think we can do a lot of 500 rupees is nothing. Well, how much is it in pounds? 5 pounds. And what is a dinner out there?
4 pounds.
4 pounds. So for just one of your measly dinners with would you call it French fries or chips? Chips and vinegar. And you can help somebody who's devastated. I once encountered myself, I went to an orphanage. One orphanage we went to, he said, so what do you need? We need a deep freezer. I said, oh, you do? You need a deep freezer? Okay, assalamu alaikum. Because he wanted it for himself. We went to another orphanage.